welcome back! It is almost Christmas and I am celebrating with my family right now, but I wanted to pause for a moment and do a little poetical analysis. Now at Christmas time you hear a lot of Christmas carols, and some of them are great and some of them are terrible. My favorite Christmas carols are always the ones that are the old poetic ones. And so I thought this Christmas I would take a little time to do a poetic analysis of some of the old Christmas carols, the ones with lots of meat on them. The first one I would like to do is I Heard the Bells of Christmas Day. And this one actually comes from a Longfellow poem. I'm going to read his original version, which is usually trimmed when performed as a Christmas carol. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. I thought how, as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolved from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black, accursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent, and made forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong, and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill towards men. So obviously this poem was written in response to the Civil War, and it is a reflection on the meaning of Christmas in a time of conflict. Christmas comes every year, and every year people stop to celebrate. And in their celebrations they sing songs about loving each other and having peace and goodwill towards men. And they take time with family and with love and with gift giving and with generally caring about people. And the underlying message, the hope for peace, the hope for goodwill, has been a message that's been repeated over and over and over again. And yet there are times when we are not at peace. There are times when we are in conflict, there are times when we are in war, there are times when we are suffering and in pain. And it's harder to feel the message in those moments. There's a famous story about German and American soldiers in the trenches in World War I who stopped on Christmas Eve and crossed the line together and shared a Christmas celebration because they heard each other singing Christmas carols. And so for one night they weren't killing each other, but rather at peace. The poem is usually trimmed down when in carol form to exclude the references to the Civil War, because the general idea is timeless. I still find this carol very moving because looking around me in the world there are conflicts and pain and war going on everywhere. And it does seem sometimes that however much we long for peace and long for goodwill and love between people, we keep falling back into conflict and hatred. The speaker in the poem says in the second stanza, "And thought how as the day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men." The song has been unbroken. We continue to celebrate Christmas over and over and over again. And we can continue to talk about peace. We continue to talk about goodwill. And yet we still fall into war. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. So no matter how much we talk about peace, hate still keeps coming back. And yet the poem does not end in despair, because this is a Christmas poem. And the bells peal even louder. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. So although conflict and war continue to arise, the poet here, the speaker in the poem, still believes in hope. And that Christmas means something. That Christmas is about hope for peace. something to continue to strive and pray for, no matter how many conflicts you go through. And if you believe in that hope and in that peace, then you've got something to hold on to and return to every year at Christmas time. So don't despair, but hold on to hope. If you want to hear me talk through some more great old carols, I'm going to do so on my Patreon, in my Patreon podcast, which just for this week, I'm making available to everybody. So click the link to head on over there and hear me talk about a whole bunch more of my favorite carols and what they mean. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas full of wonder and peace and hope. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.